All right, what's going on, guys? So there's been quite a lot of drama surrounding Adin Ross recently, but it seems to be kind of reaching its peak with this most recent controversy, and I don't think there's anyone more qualified to speak on this situation than myself because I literally did this exact same thing back in, what was it, like 2016, I think? Although for much different reasons. So when I did it, nobody was mad at me. Everybody thought it was funny. But real quick, let me drop some context here on the situation before we get into it. So you guys probably saw that there's a new streaming platform out there called Kick. It was created by Trainwrecks whenever Twitch banned gambling or whatever they've done to it. I guess they haven't completely banned it. They've like limited it. So Trainwrecks created a new streaming site to be a competitor. And I believe this site is owned and funded by Stake. That's how they have so much money to operate because obviously it's quite expensive. Basically, there's no rules on this website. You can do pretty much whatever you want. So some people have been trying out streaming over there to see if that's somewhere they'd like to move full time or whatever. And one of these people includes Adin. He even streamed the Super Bowl on there live to over like 100,000 viewers, which is actually pretty insane. I'm assuming the NFL just doesn't know about that. I mean, it was reported everywhere, so maybe they might end up seeing it or whatever. But I would imagine if they were to find out, they would not be very happy that somebody did that, and they could easily take some legal action against the website and maybe even Adin himself. I'm not really sure. I'm not a lawyer. Regardless, that's not even why people are mad at him. So a few days ago, he was streaming once again on Kick, and he literally went to the hub live on stream in front of how many ever thousands of people, and that is why people are very upset with him, because if you didn't know, most of his viewers are very young, like him, Speed, like that whole group of people or whatever. The majority of the people that watch them are like 12 years old. If you've ever seen, like when any of them goes out in public, like they get approached by like a bunch of like little kids, like that's who watches them. So first of all, I do agree. It was very weird of him to do that. Considering that most of the people that watch you are in like fucking middle school, dude, I think it makes it extra weird to pull that up on stream. And I think everyone agrees to some extent on that aspect, right? Like we all know that was very weird of him to do. There just seems to be, I guess, some disagreements on how wrong it was, I guess you could say. You know, a few things to touch on. Number one, people are saying like, oh, you know, you have to click on one of those I'm 18 plus disclaimers before you watch the stream or whatever. I mean, yeah, that's for legal purposes. That doesn't mean anything. You know, I understand it's not his responsibility. It's the parents' responsibility to monitor what their children are doing on the internet, of course. But at the same time, this was completely random of him to do, you know what I mean? So even if a parent was responsible and they took the time to see what their kid was watching and, you know, they looked up Adin, maybe they even watched a little bit of his stream to see what he's doing, they're like, okay, you know, it's not too crazy. They would have never known that he was gonna do this, you know what I mean? This isn't a pattern of behavior that he does. It's not really like normal for him to do this. So like even if a parent was responsible, they still probably wouldn't have been able to prevent this, right? And number two, people were saying like, oh, you know, this ain't nothing that these kids haven't seen before. And I agree. Once again, I'm sure for most people in that chat, this was not their first time visiting the hub. You know, although I will say there are thousands of people in that chat. We know there are some younger people in that chat, and some of them might literally be like 8 years old, 10 years old, whatever. And it might actually be the first time a kid has ever seen anything like that. But regardless of that, I think there's a very big difference between a kid looking something up on his own time and then a grown-ass man, an adult, showing it to the child. You know what I mean? There's a big difference between those two things. And then also number three, people were saying, you know, he's being a hypocrite because it was just maybe a few weeks ago he was making a big call for all of the hot tub streamers and the ASMR streamers to get banned off of Twitch because he thought what they were doing was very wrong and inappropriate. But then you can't go on a whole rant about that and then, you know, 2 weeks later you're pulling up the hub on your own stream, man. Like that's very hypocritical, you know? Like that's insane, honestly. Like, you know, all around it was a very dumb situation, and I think it's one of those situations where people have been upset with this guy for a very long time. It's just kind of been been building up over the years, I would say. You know, I think it really built up a lot during all the Andrew Tate stuff, because he basically was the main platform for Andrew Tate on Twitch, and you already know a lot of people hate Andrew Tate, obviously, and so people really didn't like that. And also, like, I don't know if I would say, yeah, I guess I would say trying to become Andrew Tate almost, like literally like copying everything he does. He like took Andrew Tate's personality almost, like it's kind of weird. But overall, people have just been, I think, waiting for a reason to get this guy, to cancel him, whatever, you know what I mean? I feel like if someone else did it, it probably wouldn't be seen as big of a deal. Like, obviously, it's still wrong, it's still weird, it's still a big deal, but I think it's an even bigger deal because it's Adin that did it, you know what I mean? I did it, you know. Actually, real quick, let me just touch on that while we're here. For those that don't know the full story, okay, just a quick story time. I swear I had a video of it on the channel, but I can't find it now. I tried to look for it. But some of you may have been around in the community at the time. You probably remember the situation. So back in like 2016, Call of Duty Competitive used to be ran by MLG, and MLG created their own streaming website called MLG TV. And at the time, all of the big COD pro players had moved from Twitch to stream on MLG TV, like Nadeshot, Scump, like everybody, they moved to MLG. There was nothing left on Twitch really for COD, right? So the trade-off was these people were all signing with MLG TV under like contracts, like salaried contracts where they had like hour requirements, and they were getting like way more ad money and stuff. So like people were going to MLG getting way more money, but the platform itself wasn't very good. Like, it was just a bad platform. Nobody wanted to go over there and watch, like, you know what I mean? It was just overall a huge L, but you did get more money, especially if you were like one of the bigger people, right? But after a while, people just got like kind of sick of it, you know what I mean? They just like quit straight. So you know what, I'd rather just not stream than stream on MLG TV. No one wants to watch, the chat is trash, like it's just a L all around. I think Nadeshot was one of the few who was able to actually get out of his contract. I think he just bought himself out, like he just paid the money, I think, to get out of it. But I remember Scump was stuck in it for a long time, and it was like a huge deal in the community that Scump can't leave MLG TV, and like everyone was like wanting him to leave. It was like a big thing, right? So I was stuck in mine as well, but I'm not Scump, right? Like, I don't really give a fuck. I don't have a professional brand to worry about. Like, I don't really care about like my image like that, you know what I mean? So I was like, you know what, okay, I'm gonna just stream the hub on there, and then they can ban me, and that way I'll be out of my contract. So that's exactly what I did. I think I had like 2K viewers, which at the time, this was a lot of viewers, especially for MLG. Like, I think Nade was getting like 10K, and he's literally the face of the website, right? So like, I'm sitting up there with 2K on the hub, like everyone's seeing that. It's crazy, you know what I mean? So I got banned, went to Twitch, and I've been on Twitch since then, obviously. So that's my little story time on the situation. Obviously, my situation was much different than Adin's. No one was really mad at me. Everyone thought that was hilarious. Anyways, back to the Adin thing, right? I think it was just a very stupid thing for him to do. He wasn't thinking, you know what I mean? It was just weird. Do I think he's really gonna get canceled? Probably not. You know, it's very hard to get canceled if you don't allow yourself to get canceled. Unless you really do some crazy messed up shit, like some EDP or even worse level shit, you're probably gonna be okay. There's a lot of people out there in this community, the gaming community, streaming community, whatever, that have done some really bad stuff, some wild stuff, and they're doing just fine. And there's also some people out there that have done some stuff that I don't even think is like that crazy compared to others, and those people ended up getting canceled because they allowed themselves to, you know what I mean? Like they as soon as like people got mad at them, they just left, they quit with it, you know what I mean? So I think it comes down to how you react to it, I would say, in most circumstances. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the video, man. It's not really much of a debate on this one, I would say, right? Like, it was just a very stupid and weird thing for him to do, and I guess we'll see how it plays out, you know what I mean? I definitely see Kick having some trouble in the future, you know? They're getting a lot of negative press. At the very least, they're gonna have some DMCA problems, I would imagine, because you can't just stream stuff like the Super Bowl, man. Like, you don't want to go to the battle with the NFL, dude. Like, you're not gonna win that one, you know what I mean? So anyways, we'll see how this situation unfolds. But yeah, that's pretty much a summary of everything so far. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to like, rating if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're not already, follow me on Twitter, links in the description down below. Check out my last video if you missed it. Oh, it was this master plan of this guy who was trying to set up like a I guess I'll just call it reverse boosting lobby with like cancer patients. Like, I know that sounds crazy. You have to just watch the video. Yes, literally, he was trying to like reverse boost off like terminally ill kids. Insane. Anyways, check that video out if you missed it. Thank you again for watching. Have a good day and peace out.